I'm Earl Nightingale. Every last one of us wants good results from life. In our homes, our work, in our contacts with other people. We want to be liked. We want success. We want money. We want to be healthy. We want to be happy. Well, during our time together here, we're going to look at the most important single factor to guarantee those good results. Day in, day out. I call it the magic word. It's attitude. You know, attitude comes very close to being everything about success or failure. With a great attitude, a person can succeed with very little else. Attitude makes the sale, or loses it. What is attitude? Well, the dictionary here describes it as a matter of bearing or mood, but it's much more than that. Attitude is what sets the stage for what we want or expect to happen. Our attitude tells the world what we expect. If it's a cheerful, expectant attitude, it says to everyone with whom we come in contact that we expect the best in our dealings with our world. You see, we tend to live up to our expectations. Our actions, feelings, moods determine the actions, feelings, moods of others. Our attitude is something we can control. We can establish our attitude each morning when we start our day. In fact, we do just that whether we realize it or not. And the people in our family, all the people in our world reflect back to us the attitude we present to them. Now, here's a way to test the past quality of your attitude. Would you say people tend to react to you in a smiling, positive, happy manner with friendly greetings when you appear? Your answer to that question will tell the story. Here's an example of what I mean. A man and his wife moved to Florida. They had planned to move for years. They were tired of the northern winters, and he was an avid fisherman. Several months passed, and one day from my place across the street, I was surprised to see them packing. I asked the man if they were leaving so soon after they'd made the move, and he nodded. He said, "My wife hates it here. We're going back home." I asked him what his wife didn't like about the place, and with a few questions, the truth came out. "She hasn't been accepted here," he said. "The other women of the community have left her strictly alone. She's made no friends. She hasn't been asked to participate in any of the community activities." "Has she let the other women know she's interested in participating in community activities?" I asked him. He stopped what he was doing and looked at me. "No," he said, "no, she hasn't. She's been waiting for the women to ask her. And since she's stayed in the house waiting for them to come to her, they've thought of her as reclusive, as a person who's not interested in making friends. So they've left her alone." There was a long silence, and he began nodding again. "That's exactly what's happened," he said. "Yes, the women of the neighborhood should have come to her, and they should have introduced themselves or invited her to a tea or luncheon, but they were reacting to her. She didn't know that the community could only give her back a reflection of herself, her own attitude." Now, here was a woman in her 60s who had never learned the first important rule for successful living, that our surroundings will always reflect us, that our environment is a mirror, often a merciless mirror, of ourselves. As soon as a person begins to change, his or her surroundings will change. And it works like this. Great attitude, great results. Good attitude, good results. Fair or average attitude, fair or average results. Bad attitude, bad results. I remember reading about Sir Henry Royce, whose habit it was to stalk about the Rolls-Royce factory. Well, one day he overheard one of his engineers saying to a worker, "That's good enough." He immediately broke into the conversation by shouting, "No, it's never good enough. That's what we're all about here. We're here to make it better, and then to make it better than it is today, and then better than it is tomorrow. Never say it's good enough. It isn't. And that's what the goal of excellence is all about. It demands an attitude of great expectations. Today, the name Rolls-Royce is synonymous with all that is remarkable and beautiful and fine about something. It is a symbol of quantity. In trying to describe the attitude that has worked so well for me over the years, I found myself using two important words: gratitude and expectant. First, I'm grateful for the opportunity to live on this beautiful and astonishing planet Earth. I wake up with a sense of gratitude in the morning. Secondly, I expect the best. I expect to reach the goals I establish for myself. And I find the idea of fulfilling those goals agreeable, hence the attitude of expectancy. I know the world will give me back what I put out in the way of attitude, so it's all up to me. I'm responsible. An expectant attitude, an attitude that expects great things to happen, that expects success, seems to have an uncanny way of shaping future events and bringing together the most astonishing coincidences. Suddenly, other people around us are infected by our spirit. Their morale goes up. They're as infected with the idea of excellence and success as we are. A great attitude is marvelously infectious. It can spread throughout an entire company or organization. If there are great attitudes at the top of the organization, there will be great attitudes throughout the organization. Everyone begins putting more of himself into the effort. An American woman was once so impressed by the ragu at a fine restaurant in Paris, she asked the chef if he would give her the recipe. Well, of course, he was happy to comply. A couple of years later, back in the same restaurant, the woman chided the chef about not giving her the complete recipe for the ragu. "It doesn't taste as good as yours," she told him. The chef went over the recipe again with her, and when she told him she had followed it to the letter, he looked at her for a long moment and then said, "Madam, perhaps you left out the most important ingredient of all. Perhaps you forgot to throw yourself into it." That's the difference that a great attitude can make, regardless of what we happen to be doing. Roger Staubach, one of the greatest quarterbacks in National Football League history, called me one morning and asked if I would write the foreword to the book he was working on. Well, long a fan of Staubach's and the Dallas Cowboys, I told him I'd be delighted and asked that he send me a copy of the manuscript. Later, in conversation with him, he talked about the role of the quarterback in leading the team. He mentioned that a winning attitude on the part of the quarterback, his posture, his facial expression, his voice, the plays he calls, and his entire attitude can do more than anything else to lift the spirits of the team for that extra effort required. So much of sports is a mental game, he went on to say. And here is the "we become what we think about" role in our success or failure. You know, life is a game too. And in so many ways, much like the game of American football, our minds direct us. They tell us to lead or to follow, and quite often to do both. But it's our attitude, more than any other factor, which determines our success or failure. An attitude that says, "We can do this," will do more than any other single factor in getting the job done, whatever it is. No matter what a person does, wherever you find a person doing an outstanding job and getting outstanding results, you find a person with a good attitude. These people believe in themselves, that they can accomplish what they set out to accomplish, that achievement is the natural order of things, that there's no good reason on earth why they can't be as successful, as competent as anyone else. Successful people come in all sizes, shapes, and colors and ages, in widely varying degrees of intelligence and education, but they have one thing in common. They expect more good out of life than bad. They expect to succeed more often than they fail, and they do succeed. These are things you want, worthwhile things. Take the attitude that there are a lot more reasons why you can reach these goals than fail in the attempt. Go after them. Work at it. Keep your attitude positive, cheerful, and expectant. And you get them. And as you do, you grow to a new plateau and be able to accomplish still more. How does one develop a good attitude? The same way one develops any other factor, practice. One good way is to stick a small sign on the bathroom mirror which says attitude. That way you'll see it the first thing in the morning. You might have another one in your car and one at your place of work. We need to smile more, speak to people, go out to people. Everything in the world we want to do or get done, we must do with and through people. Every dollar we will ever earn must come from people. Everything worthwhile in our lives comes from people. The person we love and with whom we want to spend the rest of our life is a human being with whom we must interact. Our children are individuals, each different from any other person who ever lived. And what affects them most is our attitude, the loving kindness they see and feel when we're around them. Many years ago, a famous Los Angeles restaurateur was asked by a newspaper reporter, "When did you become successful?" And he replied, "I was successful when I was dead broke and sleeping on a park bench. I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew I'd do it. It was only a matter of time." He had a successful attitude long before the success he sought could become a reality. But let me prove my point by giving you a test. If you will conscientiously do what I outline and concentrate, you will find yourself becoming lucky, as the uninitiated call it. All sorts of wonderful things will begin happening in your life and will show you what a great attitude can mean. So here's the test. Treat every person with whom you come in contact as the most important person on earth. Act toward others in exactly the same manner that you want them to act toward you. Treat the members of your family as the very important people they really are. Carry out into the world each morning the kind of attitude you'd have if you were the most successful person on earth. Notice how quickly it develops into a habit. Almost immediately you'll notice a change. Irritations that used to frustrate you will begin to disappear. When some less informed person gives you a bad time, don't let his poor attitude infect yours. Keep yours in hand. Keep it good. Keep cool, and above all, keep smiling. If someone cuts in front of your car or acts in any other manner that shows a lack of courtesy, don't react as he would. Smile it off. Destructive emotions such as anger, hatred, or jealousy don't hurt others. They hurt you. They can make your life miserable. They can make you sick. Forgive everyone who ever hurt you. Really forgive them. And then forgive yourself. That's all past. Stewing over it only makes you sick. Forgive and forget. Get rid of it. Rise above that sort of thing entirely. You know, there's nothing in the world that men, women, and children want and need more than self-esteem. The feeling that they're important, that they're needed, that they count and are respected. They will give their love, their respect, and their business to the person who fills that need, even if it's a short encounter. A great attitude does much more than turn on the lights and bring up the music in our worlds. It seems to magically connect us to all sorts of opportunities that were somehow absent before the change. Suddenly we find ourselves getting the so-called breaks, but it's really nothing more than this new connection with the world that comes with a great attitude. We become like magnets. We find ourselves doing more in less time, we put ourselves directly in the path of all kinds of serendipitous happenings. And to make these important principles a habit-knit part of your life, here are some other suggestions. Since your mind can only hold one thought at a time, number one, make the thoughts you hold constructive and positive. Number two, look for the best in people and ideas. 3, be constantly alert for new ideas you can put to use in your life. 4, don't waste time talking about your poor health or your problems to people who can't solve them. It won't help you, and it cannot help others. 5, radiate the attitude of well-being and confidence, the attitude of the person who knows where he or she is going. You'll find all sorts of good things happening to you. And 6, lastly, treat everyone with whom you come in contact as the most important person on earth. Start this habit, practice it consistently, and you'll continue to do it and benefit from it for the rest of your life. In the year 1843, a man was born who was to have a profound effect upon the lives of millions of people. His name was Russell Herman Conwell. He became a lawyer, then a newspaper editor, and finally a clergyman. And it was during his church career that an incident occurred which was to change his life and the lives of countless others. One day, a group of young people visited Conwell at his church and asked him if he could instruct them in college courses. They all wanted a college education, but lacked the money to pay for it. He told them to let him think about it and to come back in a few days. After they left, an idea began to take form in Dr. Conwell's mind. He asked himself, why couldn't there be a fine college for poor but deserving young people? Before very long, the idea consumed him. Why not? Why not indeed? It was a project worthy of 100% dedication. Almost single-handedly, Dr. Conwell raised several $1 million with which he founded Temple University in Philadelphia, today one of the country's leading schools. He raised the money by giving more than 6,000 lectures all over the country, and in each of them he told a story called Acres of Diamonds. It was a true story which had affected him very deeply, and it had the same effect on his audiences. The money he raised to build the college came pouring in. The story was about an African farmer who heard tales about other farmers who had made millions of dollars by discovering diamond mines. This so excited him that he could hardly wait to sell his farm and go prospecting for diamonds himself. So he sold the farm and spent the rest of his life wandering the African continent, searching unsuccessfully for the gleaming gems which brought such high prices on the markets of the world. Finally, the story goes, broke, worn out and in a fit of despondency, he threw himself into a river and drowned. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, or farm in this case, the man who had bought his farm happened to be crossing a small stream on the property one day when something gleamed from the bottom of the stream. He picked it up. It was a sparkling stone, good-sized stone, and admiring it, he later put it on his fireplace mantel as an interesting curiosity. Well, several weeks later, A visitor admired the stone, then looked closely at it, hefted it in his hand, and nearly fainted. He asked the farmer if he knew what he'd found. When the farmer said no, that he thought it was just a piece of crystal, the visitor told him he had found one of the largest diamonds ever discovered. The farmer was astonished. He told the man that his farm was covered with them, and the creek was full of such things. Not all as big, but covered with these brilliant stones. They were sprinkled generously throughout his property. Well, needless to say, the farm that the first farmer had sold so quickly to go look for diamonds turned out to be the most productive diamond mine on the entire African continent. The first farmer had owned free and clear acres of diamonds, but had sold them for practically nothing in order to look for them elsewhere. The moral is clear. If the first farmer had only taken the time to study and prepare himself to learn what diamonds looked like in their rough state, and since he already owned a piece of the African continent, to thoroughly explore the property he had before looking elsewhere, his wildest dreams would have come true. The thing about this story that so profoundly affected Dr. Conwell and subsequently millions of others was the idea that each of us is at this moment standing in the middle of his or her own acre of diamonds. If we will only have the wisdom and patience to intelligently and effectively explore the work in which we're now engaged, we can usually find that it contains all the riches we seek, whether financial, intangible, or both. So before we go running off to what we think of as greener pastures, let's make sure that our own is not just as green, or perhaps even greener. Another inspiring example of someone finding acres of diamonds in his own backyard is my friend Stu Leonard. Until 1967, Stu was a milkman with a home delivery route. But when the state of Connecticut decided to put a highway through his dairy plant, Stu had to rethink his career. He found the answer in his own backyard. Customers counseled him to open a retail dairy store and offer the lowest prices possible, and that's exactly what he did. Today, Stu Leonard's is the largest dairy store in the world. Since it opened in 1969, the store has been expanded 29 times and boasts 3.5 million customers a year. The secret of Stu Leonard's success is no secret. Make the customer happy. Right by the store's entrance is a 3-ton boulder bearing Stu Leonard's motto, Rule 1, the customer is always right. Rule 2, if the customer is ever wrong, reread rule number 1 again.
Our whole philosophy is based on the idea that only happy customers come back. We don't go back to restaurants we don't like, we don't go back to hotels we don't like, and we don't go back to food stores we don't like. So the idea is that there are 93 other food stores within 15 miles of mine. My goal is to make sure that my customers don't spend much time in those other 93 stores.
I love the way the operation, the whole thing is put together. The food is excellent. I've shopped here for 3.5 years. I've never had a return of thing.
You really did a good job in developing the place because it changes daily. It's not something that they have every day like a supermarket has. Everything changes, price change, as well as product.
I love it. It's great. It's wide open, and it seems that everyone's very friendly here, and I like it.
Stu Leonard's is not a regular supermarket. It's a dairy store built around a unique, glass-enclosed dairy processing plant. Most supermarkets carry 10,000 items or more. Stu Leonard carries only 750, many under its own label. But what the store does sell, it sells in staggering quantities. 10 million quarts of milk each year, 250 tons of butter, 70 million pounds of produce.
Every apple, every piece of fruit, vegetable looks like it was taken out of a photo setup. It looks perfect. In most of the supermarkets you go into, the stuff you got to dig around to find anything that looks halfway decent. And it tastes usually just as good as it looks. So.
It's not just the produce that impresses, it's the no waiting at the 25 cash registers, the suggestion box that receives rapid attention from management, and the undeniable attitude that the customer is king.
The woman came in one day with a tin foil with some turkey bones wrapped up in it, and she said, "Stu, the turkey that I cooked this Thanksgiving was dry." And I looked at the turkey bones, and there were like 5 or 6 turkey bones, and I said, "Wow." I said, "Let's go pick out another turkey." She believed that I sold her a dry turkey, and in the scope of things, a customer spends $100 a week in the store. That's $5,000 a year, but it's $50,000 over 10 years. So my attitude is one of a lifetime business, a lifetime customer, and if I can keep that attitude, I can build a business to the sky.
They're very solicitous, like my little boy had an ice cream cone that fell off, and somebody was there within seconds to sweep it up. I don't know how he even knew.
What I love about it is these checkout counters. The store could be filled with people, and you're out of here in no time at all. They're very efficient.
I've dealt with them on a business level also, where I've sold things to them, and they even make you feel special as a vendor. So it's rather a unique experience doing business with them.
Stu Leonard's philosophy is a blend of the golden rule, treat others as you would be treated, and his own belief that you don't have employees, you have a team.
Attitude is the foundation of everything in the store. The next thing as you go up the pyramid to us is that with good attitude, we can teach teamwork. Because you work together in a nice spirit. And with teamwork, we can build toward excellence.
I mean, the people you work with, Stu himself, he gives it that personal touch. He makes you care. I mean, a lot of people, they go to different jobs and they're just here for a paycheck. But here is something more. You give yourself also.
These people here seem to be fair, honest. They realize you're trying to do a job. And in other places I've worked at, they just run right over you like you're not there.
Because if you have any problems, you can always go and talk to someone. And they'll take out time to listen. That's really important.
They don't negate any ideas. They strongly recommend that people come forward with ideas because that means everyone is constantly thinking and trying to grow a little bit.
What gets rewarded gets repeated is a management concept, not original with me, but the idea basically is that a pat on the back is only a few vertebrae above a kick in the pants. But it's a mile apart in the results that it brings.
Employees are not just given a pat on the back for their excellence. They're awarded plaques, gift certificates, $100 dinners, and managers take part in profit sharing.
If you take good care of your people, they'll take good care of your customers. And I could go on and say that if my people are happy, my customers will be happy.
They're helpful, they're knowledgeable. Most of them have been here quite a while. I think they feel well paid, and it shows in their attitude toward the customer.
Yeah, I have a couple that comes in, the 2 favorites that ladies that come in, they look for things that they really want, like cheese ends. They normally come looking for me. But they know when they come in, I have them ready. If not, I get them for them. So you get attached to them. It's like you're doing somebody special.
I think he puts time into his employees. I wish I could run my business as well as he runs his business.
Well, one lady, for example, she came in, she didn't like the filet mignon. She said it was too tough and dry. And I said, gee, that's funny. We never had a problem with our fillets. And, she was really persistent, offered to give her money back. And then, being so persistent, I got a bouquet of roses for her. And I gave her some roses. And she was, oh, wow. Well, she was flabbergasted. She was.
If Stu Leonard is the motivator of Connecticut, he's also the Walt Disney of the dairy world. Walt Disney, one of Stu's heroes, espoused cleanliness, quality, and fun. And having fun is an essential part of the Stu Leonard experience.
I really enjoy seeing the children being so happy here. They really enjoy coming here, and I think it makes a big difference because it means that the kids will be anxious to come here.
Do you like this store?
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
That cow. I know a lot of my neighbors come with little kids because it's as much an excursion as a shopping trip.
If the customers are having fun, it makes me want to have fun. And the idea of this place and the people and everything is a spirit. It's a spirit of good cheer, like a carnival or a farmer's market or something.
We're the Farm Fresh Five. How do you do? We have gallons of fun just for you. We work at Stu Leonard's day and night, making sure the customer is always right. We're the Farm Fresh Five and we're having a ball, singing and playing and giving our all, helping Stu Leonard with his store, making happy customers come back for more. If you're looking for freshness, you're in the right place. From the bakery meats and produce to the dairy cake.
So the whole spirit here, my attitude toward my people is that they're my friends, and they're my hopefully lifelong friends, and together we're gonna build a great thing, and we're all gonna become ourselves at our best.
Stu Leonard is, of course, a millionaire many times over. So when you hear the question, what can you do with one store? Tell the person to check out Stu Leonard's in Norwalk, Connecticut. There's no limit to what you can do with a single store, or a single job, or a single territory. To prospect your own acres of diamonds, you must develop a faculty I call intelligent objectivity, the ability to stand off and look at your work as a person from Mars might look at it. Within the framework of what industry or profession does your job fall? Do you know all you can know about your industry or profession? Isn't it time for a refreshing change of some kind? How can the consumer be given a better break? Each morning ask yourself, how can I increase my service today? There are rare and very marketable diamonds lurking all about me. Have I been looking for them? Examining every facet of my work and my industry. There are better ways to do what I'm presently doing. What are they? How will they be done in 20 years? Can I do it now? Everything in this world is in a state of evolution and improvement. How can I do what will eventually be done anyway now? Think of what Stu Leonard did with his dairy route. Sure, there's risks involved. There's no growth of any kind without risk. We start running risks when we get out of bed in the morning. Risks are good for us. They bring out the best in us. Human beings should never be settled or contented. Contentment is for cows. If you feel like running away from it all once in a while, you're perfectly normal. If you stay and get rid of your problems by working your way through them, you're a success. Ask what role does attitude play in a person's success or failure is a lot like asking, what role does granite play in the Himalayas? Or what role does a good parent play in the home? The answer is, attitude is the very foundation for success. But the majority of people in the United States are not successful people in any of the fundamental categories that make a difference. What are these important categories? One, recognition. Successful people give more recognition to others than do unsuccessful people. Two, self-esteem. This comes in part from recognition, and it also comes from the knowledge that one is in charge of his or her life and that is proceeding along his planned route. Number 3, rewards. The rewards of success come in many forms, not the least of which is in the form of money. Successful people earn more money than unsuccessful people and enjoy investing and spending it. They live in better dwellings, drive better cars, they travel more, they meet more interesting people, and have infinitely more options. Successful people don't have to spend the final years of their lives, which for successful people are usually the best years of their lives, in limited or unfortunate circumstances. Successful people tend to enjoy life more and tend to enjoy more of their years. Number 4, change. The stimulation of change in our lives is of great importance. In fact, some experts in such matters believe change to be the second most important want on the part of people everywhere, right after recognition. Successful people have much more stimulation and change in their lives. They can go more places, do more things, meet more people. They're not stuck anywhere. Number 5, service. Successful people do a better job of serving others than do unsuccessful people, or they would not be successful. Their very success gives them more options and more freedom to be of service to others through foundations, libraries, hospitals, universities, the arts. The successful people of the country serve without fanfare by giving their time and money to charitable organizations of all kinds. To me, these are the 5 main categories in which the successful experience joy, satisfaction, and reward, and the unsuccessful do not. So then, who succeeds in America? The person who sets his or her own wages, goals, and lifestyle. Successful people are those who discover that life is quite ready and willing to meet their requirements. They set their incomes to meet their needs and wants. You know, you have deep reservoirs of ability, even genius lurking within you. What is your strength? You should know what it is by now. What do you do best? What gives you the deepest satisfaction? Whatever that is can be honed to marketable proportions and applied in service to others to earn you the rewards you seek, and should have, and will have. And that's your part of the bargain. No one is supposed to do that for you, or hold your hand, or rush to your aid every time you slip or fall back a little. That's the earning part that falls on each of us. There's help enough on every side if we're wise enough and energetic enough to make use of it. Help in the form of books, audio and video cassettes, skills to hone, and the numerous people who do come to our aid once we're on course. Such people need not be sought. They come naturally of their own will, of their own need, like magic, at just the right time. Events begin to fall into place in our lives like missing pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. Success takes risk. It takes full commitment. You go out on the limb, so to speak, and take your chances alone. The warm, comfortable masses must be left behind along with the old neighborhood and the small dreams. Risk and success are at opposite ends of the same balancing beam. You cannot have one without the corresponding weight of the other. The late motion picture producer Mike Todd put it well. He said, "Being broke is a temporary situation. Being poor is a state of mind." People see a successful person living the good life with all the perquisites of modern success and say, "Hey, look at that. Man, would I love to be him or have what he has or she has." How lucky can you get? Lucky? Luck is what happens when preparedness meets opportunity. Such people don't know about the planning, the study, the preparation, the long hours, the hard work, the steady, implacable resolve. All they see is the end result, and they call it luck. It's not luck. It's plain hard work built on a positive attitude toward success. Well, what do you think? Is it worth it? Is it worth all the hard work, the planning and sacrifice? Is having the right attitude for success, as we've defined it here, worth the trouble, the effort, the commitment, the dedication, the perseverance? Yes, of course it is. It does as much for us as it does for others. The time will pass anyway, so why not put it to constructive, productive use? Everyone benefits, nobody loses. It's a you win, I win situation, the way it's supposed to be. In every field of human endeavor, it's the successful men and women who make the important difference. They see growth and improvement as the natural order of things, and they can see themselves growing into new arenas of achievement and commensurate reward. Only that day dawns to which we are awake, wrote Henry David Thoreau. What a pity it is for a human being with the gift of consciousness to take life and all that is connected with life for granted, to live each day as his or her due and quite likely find more to criticize than to be grateful for. Yet that's exactly how millions live out their lives. They often give the impression that they have a contract with forever, when it is really for only a handful of years between the great bookends of mystery. Why not give it all we have to give? Why not make a thorough exploration of ourselves and by so doing find what it is we have to add to the quality somewhere? To make life better because we made an appearance here. To serve in the way we think we can serve best. This is Earl Nightingale, and thank you.